First, I want to ask you about the forum. First, about the forum. How do you like it, and what do you like about it? Because I know you're from IAB, right?
Right.
So you probably organized something like that in the States. Is it different? Do we do something different here in Poland?
Well, the thing to me that's most striking about the IAB Forum in Poland is that it's actually as large as our large annual meeting. Mm-hmm. So Poland actually brings as many people from the industry together as IAB US does, and it's a kind of a testimony to how successful Władek Schmidt has been in creating and growing one of the most important IABs in the world, which happens to be here in Poland. So yeah, very impressive.
So the number of people impressive. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's talk about your lecture. You talked about ad blocks. We know the problem in Poland is large, and you're trying to do two initiatives: the lean and the deal. What I'm wondering is, do you think it's possible that the publishers in Poland will actually engage in it, and that they will incorporate those initiatives here in Poland?
Yes, I think. Let me take them one at a time. You know, lean is fundamentally an industry-wide initiative to simply improve the user experience in the ad-supported internet. So it's something that individual publishers and marketers and agencies can take on for themselves, but it's something that the industry is going to have to do collectively. We have to create better, more consistent standards on things like security. I mean, for example, we're way past the time when HTTPS and SSL encryptions should become the absolute standard. These shouldn't be voluntary anymore. We need to have consensus around page load, latency thresholds. The idea that a page can take 40 seconds to load and advertising can be 30 seconds of that, that's crazy. And so that's something for the industry collectively and for individual participants, and it's an absolute must-have. That will happen. That is happening. On Deal is a much shorter-term initiative for individual publishers to literally deal with their users. And the beginning part of it is you have to have detection on. Even if you're not going to do anything, you have to do research as a publisher on what your users are doing. If they have ad blockers turned on, you need to know that, because then you need to be able to find out from them why they have ad blockers turned on. You need to find out how they're reacting to your specific user experience. That's just simply a requirement for any business to do that kind of research. So yes, I believe all publishers in Poland will be doing it.
Well, what I'm wondering, there's one interesting thing that you said, that the publisher is going to be able to block the user if they don't remove the ad block.
Well,
I'm wondering how the consumer, the users, are going to react to that.
Well, what we're seeing around the world with publishers that have implemented that is that between 20 and 40% of the users that have ad blocking turned on will turn it off when they're asked, because they want access to the valuable content. Some of them won't. I mean, some are going to be ad block diehards. That means they're of limited value to you. If you make your money by selling advertising and somebody is going to take your free content but not take the advertising, you have to ask what value they are to you in the end. But again, even setting that analysis aside, we are seeing consistently that when asked to whitelist a site or to turn off their ad blocker or to pay a small fee for an ad-free subscription, between 20 and 40% of users are doing that.
Okay, that makes sense actually. One last question. You said that the publishers are going to be graded, they're going to have points.
We hope so. I mean, our goal is to, and we are working on it right now, to create a lean scoring mechanism. Think of it as like nutritional labeling on the back of food.
Is it going to be available for consumers?
The idea is that it will be publicly available, that both advertising assets, the ads themselves, will be graded, and publishers' sites will be graded on the degree to which they conform to the lean principles. Are the file sizes of the ads below a certain weight? Are there a limited number of data calls? Is there a latency? Are they below a certain latency threshold? Are they being delivered? Are the ads being delivered on encrypted pages? Those things are easy to measure and easy to incorporate into a scoring system, and we think that kind of public scoring system creates a set of market drivers to help improve behavior, make advertising. Yeah, it's competition. I mean, you think of it, again, nutritional labeling is a good model here, or even a Fitbit is a good model. By having the availability of the data, it serves as an encouragement to improve your performance.
Of course.
Very simple.
So how far are you from incorporating those two initiatives in Poland?
Well, in Poland, I don't know. We're working on them. It's a global initiative. It's being led by the IAB Tech Lab in the US. The hope is to have the beta of a lean scoring mechanism ready before the end of this year. That's the goal. That's the timetable, to have something that can be introduced into beta by the end of the year. As far as Deal, I mean, you know, Deal has lots of variations, but as a concept, it's out in the marketplace now, and hundreds of publishers around the world are adopting it. And what we're encouraging all publishers to experiment with their own particular variations. But again, it begins with something very, very fundamental. You have to have an ad block detection script turned on, and then you have to do research as to who is coming to your site with ad blockers turned on and why. What is it about your site that makes them unhappy so that they have ad blockers turned on? That research is the beginning of everything.
Well, I know the ad block problem in Poland in Europe actually is pretty large, so I hope it works. I have my fingers crossed for you guys, and thank you for the talk.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll say one last thing. One last thing. It will work because people love content, and they love the kind of content that ad-supported publishers create. And the reason they love that content is that content, the advertising creates revenues that the best publishers invest in better content. So when it comes to great entertainment, important news, important and valuable services, that comes mostly from ad-supported publishers. People love that content, and in order to maintain access to the content, they too, consumers, will engage in those kinds of deals with their publishers.
Well, let's hope they do, and let's hope it works out.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much once again.
Pleasure.